Hey guys, thanks for joining up with me on this beautiful sunny day. Doing a little post-ride narration. Don't quite have my mic set up yet to record while I'm riding. Just got that in, so hopefully the next video will be able to cure that. And I'll be able to talk to you and let you hear the sights and sounds of what's going on as I'm riding the bike. Let you hear the beautiful sound that comes from this bike as you go through the upper RPM range. Sounds great, has a nice growl to it. Just want to give you a quick rundown here of what I feel about the bike so far, having owned it for not very long now. As I was just pulling out of the garage, I had 12 miles on the bike. By the end of this ride, I had right at 50, I think. And also, this was on Tuesday. I also went for a ride on Wednesday. Have almost 100 miles on it now. The tires are starting to feel a little bit better, softening up a little. This particular day, I think we got up to maybe 55 degrees. 2 days previously, we had just had a little bit of snow. As you can see, there's some salt and slag still on the roads. Right here, it's not too bad, but some of the less traveled roads, a lot of grit. And at the end of the video, you can see when I dismount from the bike that I actually had some on the seat. Since doing the fender elimination, I'm getting a little bit of trash kicked up from the road. That's normal, and it's definitely tolerable because the aesthetic look of the bike is much better now. Let's see, this is just a little area that, actually it's my neighborhood. I live in this area, and also the shop is not far away. Going to go and hit some of the back roads here, just trying to get some break-in on the bike. Manufacturer requires or actually suggests that you do keep it under 4,000 RPMs up to 600 miles. Yeah, that's tough. There's a little bit of leeway on that, so it's tough, man. Being on a brand new bike, especially something that's got a lot of low end and mid range torque like this one, it's tough to keep it down, but I'm doing the best that I can. Definitely trying to stick to the Kawasaki recommendation on that, but I also went ahead and picked up the gold package warranty, so if I do have any problems, I'm covered. Which I highly recommend for anyone else. Man, it's literally pennies on the dollar for any repair. I've had this before on my Yamaha, their version of their extended warranty deal. I've had to use it, and it paid for itself in one visit. So if you're going to buy this bike, pick up the additional coverage. You're not going to regret it. Not trying to plug Kawasaki's program or anything, but I've been there. I've had to pay out of pocket for bike repairs, and they suck. Alright, I learned my lesson, and I always get it from now on. Okay, the bike, how it handles. Man, this thing is super, super well balanced and so fun to toss around the corners. What little bit I've had it through the twisties, nothing too serious yet. I'm trying to take it easy and not punish the tires so hard. Not push them to where I'm gonna wreck, especially with as much. You can see all the crap on the road here. Don't want to low side the bike, and under 100 miles, that'd suck. But yeah, the bike handles superbly well. It's definitely a confidence-inspiring machine. If you're a new rider, a beginner, I honestly think this will be a great bike. I used to be the kind of person to be like, you don't need the bike, it's a 650 for a starter, get a 250, something you can handle. Man, this is a great bike. The throttle's a little touchy on takeoff. It's actually a little surprising. I've heard from other reviews say that the throttle is very gentle on takeoff. For whatever reason, mine, you barely turn the throttle and it goes. Maybe it's me used to riding a cruiser here more recently, but man, this thing, it's a blast. It's fun. It's lightweight. It's easy to manage. The balance is, the center of gravity is, I want to say, on the mid to lower range on the bike. It's not a very high center of gravity, but it's not too low either, not like a low slung cruiser. So it's really agile. I cannot wait till either I replace the Dunlops that are on it, or get these nice and wore in and heated up during the warmer months of the year. It's going to be fun. I cannot wait to take this thing across the Parkway or the Dragon. Yeah, I live an hour and a half from Tail of the Dragon. Those videos will be posted. My friends and I are already ready to just blast that thing and get some great footage, and hopefully some fun to be had. It's just the big thing with going there is you got to go in the middle of the week. If you don't, it's overly crowded with asshats and idiots. Let's see, do a little video cut here, getting ready to turn onto one of the side roads. I was hoping this road was going to be clear and clean so I could actually try the handling out on the bike, but again, if you look, there's so much slag on this road in particular that I didn't want to take any turns too quickly and low side the bike. Right here I got up to about 60, mid 60, 65, something like that. It's got a nice little straightaway here, and then I slowed down. I know this road, I'm very familiar with it. One curve in particular up here, you see I was trying to warm my tires up just a little bit, get a little more grip in case I needed it. One curve up here, you see me really slow down just before the stop sign. There's people, the way the driveways are, it's kind of hazardous there. And as you see, there's two young girls that when I pull up to the stop sign, they cut through my lane, and they were staring me down like, what was I doing on a bike? This, because it's a little bit cool during the day, but hey man, 50 degrees, I'm ready to roll. The bike handles great, the balance is good. Admittedly, the reason that I picked this bike over any other, I was looking at the SV650 originally, had my heart set on an SV650 actually. Loved the looks of them. I grew up with Suzuki, being on dirt bikes. I had a DS80 when I was a little fella. What I started out on, loved it. Many fond memories, and then moved up to the RM125, did some motocross with that. I've always had a bike. I've been riding since, oh good lord, I can probably walk. Had one of those old little, I can't remember exactly what they were called, but it had like a little 2.5 horse or 3 horse Briggs & Stratton motor on it, a little 2-wheel scooter mini bike. I can't remember, it had a specific name, but I had one of those when I was like 4 years old. But I wanted the SV really bad. I know it has a lower seat height. I'm a small guy. But this bike, man, the guy at the motorcycle shop when I walked in, he's like, well, the SV's a great bike, but let me get you to come over here and sit on this Yamaha, this FC07. It's a comparable bike to that. See what you think. Sat on it. Yeah, I'm familiar with the Yamahas. I've had several Yamahas. The seats are a lot wider. They sit a lot taller. They're great bikes, don't get me wrong, but I wanted something that was going to be a little bit more comfortable for commuting. And not just, see there, they just cut right through the lane. Great drivers around here, I'm telling you. But anyway, I wanted something that had a little more upright feel, not kind of cruiserish, but not super bike either, because I've done both, and I wanted something in between, and this has got enough sport and enough comfort that I think I'm going to be really happy with it. But I had not even looked at the Kawasaki's up until the day I walked in that shop. And the guy, I was like, yeah, I really don't like the Yamaha, the way it feels, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to move away from, the wide saddle and the tall stance. So he asked me if I'd seen the new Kawasaki Z, and I was like, no. Even though I literally walked straight past this bike coming in the front door. I mean, you walk in the front door and they had that thing crossways. You literally had to walk around it. I paid it no attention, which blows my mind because this is one sexy machine. It's the right color. I've always had an affinity toward white bikes. I don't know why, man. They stand out. They look beautiful. I love it. But anyway, I went over there, and as soon as I sat down on this thing, it just meshed to me. It felt great. Low slung seat height. The saddle's nice and slender. It feels great. I'm 5'3", 150 pounds, with a 29 to 30 inch inseam. And I sit comfortable on this bike. I am completely in control. Do I flat foot it? Hell no. I don't flat foot many bikes at all, except for my V-Star. And that's a heavy as hell bike. That thing's like 540 pounds or something, and this thing's 400 pounds. It feels like a toy, man. I mean, it really does. I seriously cannot wait till warmer weather and this is nice and broke in and I can really see what she'll do. But coming from a guy of shorter stature, this bike is perfect, and I highly recommend it for anyone else that's contemplating whether they can ride a bike because they're shorter, or if you're a beginner. This bike will give you confidence. Unfortunately, that could go bad as well. It could give you too much confidence, and then next thing you know, you're off in a ditch. Anybody that does pick this bike up, I highly recommend following the break-in, being gentle on it for the first at least 100 miles to get these tires wore in. That's super, super important. That's really important for any bike. When you buy new tires, have them put on, be easy on them. They have that factory sheen on them. You got to get the oils wore out, get them rounded out properly. You have to break tires in. You only have two. This is not a freaking cage. It's a bike. Be gentle. You'll much better enjoy yourself if you do. Because, getting road rash picked out of your arms is not fun. But, yeah, I'm on the return trip now. This was about a 45 minute trip. I did this, this was my lunch, took my lunch break, and I was like, fuck it, I'm getting the bike out. One thing I noticed with these tires not fully broken in yet, the bike wanted to lean slightly to the left. But after the next day that I went riding and went up a back mountain pass road, I had the camera mounted on the handlebar for that trip, and it's such a rough road that even the image stabilization, it looked like crap. So I'm not even going to bother uploading that footage. But anyway, after doing those little twisty roads that I did on Wednesday, the bike really feels much, much better now. The tires are worn in. That's probably the only low point about this bike so far. The tires could have been better on it. Everything else is completely fun. And here in just a minute or two, I had somehow a bug got up in my visor. And when I flipped my visor up, it tilted my camera down just slightly. And you'll be able to see my hands and everything. I have been doing some clutchless shifting on this bike. Very smooth. It's, of course, sequential gearbox like every other bike on the planet. It's, not a big deal. You're not going to blow anything up. I very rarely ever use a clutch to upshift a bike. It's way more efficient. Yeah, right here's the bug flies up. I raised my visor. Helmet I got's pretty cool. It's a Scorpion T510, I believe. It's got the sunglasses inside, double visor deal. I love it. Yeah, now I'm downshifting, so you see me use the clutch here, railroad tracks. But yeah, clutchless shifting is very smooth on this bike. You can tell right there, I just upshifted, no jerk, upshift again. I mean, it just, let off the throttle, pop the gear up, back on the throttle. Just the quicker and smoother you do it, the smoother it upshifts. Now I'm downshifting. You can see me twist the throttle. Like I said, I've been riding a long time. I do rev match as I downshift. It's a lot easier on the engine. You're not spiking the RPMs. You get a lot smoother ride, especially if you're going into a corner and have to downshift. Learn to rev match. It's very important. Try it in your car. Practice in your vehicle if you have a straight drive. If you've never done it before, heel to toe shift, downshift, rev match. I'm sure there are a lot of great videos. About ready to wrap this video up. Didn't think I'd be able to narrate this long, but hope you guys enjoyed the little ride along here and the rambling about the break-in period. I promise I will put out better videos soon. I've got some better recording equipment. I'll be able to talk, let you hear the bike. And you guys take care, and we will see you on the next video. Any questions, comments, leave them below, please. And we will see you next trip.